How to reconcile input tax in Carmen. Hello everyone! Today I'll guide you through the process of reconciling input tax in Carmen. This process ensures that after receiving original tax invoices, the system automatically reverses the input VAT undue to input VAT. Let's get started. Accessing the Input Tax Reconciliation menu. Start by going to the Account Payable menu and selecting Procedure to enter the Input Tax Reconciliation process. Next, select Input Tax Reconciliation to begin the process. Selecting the tax period. Now, choose the relevant tax period. You may notice that some tax invoices have a status of pending because during invoice creation, the VAT account code was set as Input VAT Undue, and the tax status was marked as pending. To proceed, select the checkbox next to the tax invoice. You will see that the tax status changes from pending to confirm. And the period updates to the current working period. Editing tax invoice details. In the tax invoice number field, you can correct the invoice number if necessary. The system will automatically update it on the invoice document. If reconciling multiple tax invoices, select them accordingly before moving forward. Proceeding to reconciliation. Click the Next button to continue. A pop-up will appear, notifying you that the system will reverse the input VAT and post the data to the general ledger. The reconciliation data will be stored in the Tax Reconcile voucher. Click OK to confirm the reconciliation process or cancel to stop it. Confirmation and status update. After clicking OK, the system will display the reconciliation status of the tax invoices. The status may include confirmed invoices that have been successfully reconciled, not confirmed invoices that are still pending reconciliation, unclaimable invoices that cannot be reconciled. Final confirmation. Click OK again to complete the process. The system will confirm that the selected tax invoices have been successfully posted for VAT reconciliation. And that's it. Now you know how to reconcile input tax in Carmen, ensuring accurate VAT accounting and compliance. Try it out and keep your tax records up to date. How to maintain an input tax invoice in Carmen. Hello! For this video, I'll show you how to go through the process of maintaining an input tax invoice in Carmen. This is useful when purchases are recorded through other modules, such as petty cash or credit card commission expenses in GL, and input VAT does not flow into the tax reconcile. Let's begin. Accessing the Input Tax Reconciliation menu. Start by going to the Account Payable menu and selecting Procedure to access the Input Tax Reconciliation process. Next, click on Input Tax Reconciliation to begin. Adding other tax invoices to the input tax report. Now move to Step 2, which allows you to manually add tax invoices to the input tax report. Select the tax period to specify the month in which the tax should be recorded. Creating a new tax invoice. To create a new tax invoice, click on the option to add a new entry. The system will display a window where you can enter the tax invoice details. Now, enter the required information. Tax invoice number as stated on the document. Tax invoice date according to the invoice. Tax ID of the vendor. Branch number, which identifies the vendor's branch. Vendor name as listed on the invoice. Description field to provide details about the taxable goods or services. Net amount, which represents the expense amount. The system will automatically calculate the VAT in the tax field and the total amount in the total field. Once all details are entered, click OK to save the tax invoice. Reviewing and managing the tax invoice. Once saved, the tax invoice will be displayed on the main page. Check the source field to identify the origin of the tax invoice. Export refers to a tax invoice generated from an AP invoice. User refers to a tax invoice manually added by a user. If you need to edit the tax invoice information, click the edit icon to modify the document. If you need to delete the document, follow the necessary steps. If an AP invoice has been recorded with a petty cash vendor, update the vendor information accordingly, finalizing the input tax report. When all tax invoices have been recorded, click the Finish button at the bottom right to proceed with printing the input tax report. If you wish to export the data as an Excel file, select the Export Input Tax menu. And that's it. Now you know how to manually maintain an input tax invoice in Carmen, ensuring accurate VAT reconciliation, even for purchases recorded outside the standard AP process. Try it out and keep your tax records up to date. How to print an input VAT report in Carmen. Once you have recorded all purchase tax invoices for a given month, you can generate and print the input VAT report for tax submission. Today, I'll show you how to do it in just a few simple steps. Let's get started. Accessing the Input Tax Reconciliation menu. Start by going to the Account Payable menu. Next, navigate to the Procedure menu and select Input Tax Reconcile to access the reconciliation process. Selecting the tax period for the report. Move to Step 3, which is the Input Tax Reconciliation Completed section. Now, select the tax period for which you need to print the report. Generating the Input VAT report. To generate the report, click on the Print Input Tax Report button. The system will create the report in PDF format. If this is your first time using the system, your browser may block the pop-up. In that case, select Always Allow To.